Hey everybody, Karen here. Welcome back to Unpinned Creative and day 11 of dephemerember. Today's prompts are handmade stamp and jumbo tag. So let's get into it. Our animal is a toucan, which is hilarious because if you've been watching my other videos, I used a toucan in day 9, I believe it was. So, and as I said in an earlier video, I haven't gone and read ahead for the prompts or the animals or anything like that, so I'm not very organized. So it is as much a surprise to me as anybody else, but I'm excited about this page today. So this is the page from my journal that I will be working on, and I went into my nature books and I found this gorgeous image and also this amazing page, which I love. I think the artwork is really stunning. On this page it's all about the toucan, but it has a picture of a parrot, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But the first thing I want to do is I want to do some background on this, because I feel like this page I'm not going to have much opportunity to come back later and do the background, which is what I'm planning for all the other pages. So I am simply going to give it a quick spray with some water, just a light spray, and then I'm going to crumple it up. So the water was only to soften the page, to make it easier for crumpling, and it was just a really light spray. Okay, so all I'm going to do for the background is grab my ink pad and just lightly brush it over the top. I just want not quite so plain of a paper bag. I just want some texture there and a tiny bit of depth and that sort of thing, so without having to decorate the whole page. So you can see, hopefully, the kind of effect that has given the page. So I'm happy with that. I will let that dry off a bit, and while that is drying off, my idea for this page is I'm going to make the top of it into a tag shape. So I'm not sure if I hold it right, you can see the image from the other side through to here. So I don't want to destroy this beautiful parrot, even though it's not a toucan. I want to keep the image, so I'm going to cut diagonally here and diagonally there without chopping through either this image or the one on the back. So if I just first of all make a mark there, and then I'll measure that. It's about 5 centimeters, and down is just over 6. So now if I hold it up to the light, I can make sure that this image is not going to be affected, and I know that this image isn't. So that looks pretty good to me. Voila, a tag, a jumbo tag. Now this page I don't even want to ink up. I'm just going to leave it exactly as it is, but I am going to ink up this page because this page I will do decorating on. Now my idea is that I'm going to attach this to the end of this page, and to do that I have a beautiful strip of fabric here, so I'm just going to pop some glue down each side. Flip it over. Make sure they're buttered up really nicely, and I'll just do the same on this side. So we have this this side is staying as it is. It will, the top of the tag will stick out the top of my journal, which I am very happy about. I love things that poke out. And this side we will decorate. I'm trying not to destroy this with my messy crafting in the meantime. Next, the handmade stamp. I'm going to pop this aside for now. So I use anything and everything as stamps. You've seen me use bubble wrap before. I use that quite a lot. I use the bottom of my glue bottle, the bottom of my glue stick. I use jars, cups, anything that I think would make a cool impression on a page, an inked impression on a page. I have used as stamps. So I have a different idea today, and I want to make a quite large tree stamp. So the first thing I'm going to do is use this piece of card to draw the general shape. And I am not a drawer or a sketcher or I'm not that sort of an artist, so it will be very general shape of a tree. Very general. And now I just want to cut around that knot precisely, just so I have a smaller piece of card to work with, which will make life easier for me. It is my very general tree shape. And now what I am going to do is bring in my jute twine. I have to say I have no idea if this is going to work because I've never done it before. So it's going to be very interesting, to say the least. Then I'm going to pop some wood glue down. Wood glue because it dries really quickly, which I want in this instance. Using my favourite tool, my finger tool, but you could obviously use a brush or a piece of card or something like that. And I'm just going to cover that whole general tree shape in glue. Quite a decent thick layer, because I don't want it to dry too quickly. I want it to dry quickly, but not too quickly. I should have checked the size on my page before I did this. Silly me. Okay, let me check that now. So I already know that's going to be way too big. What am I thinking? Okay, it's fine. I'm going to chop it off here. I'm going to glue that on the back of that, like so. Okay, so I know that's the height I want, so I'll just go from there. Right, now I'm going to take my jute twine and create a tree. I have made a tree out of jute twine before. You might have seen it when I was doing the recycled art prompt. I think I showed it in that video. So that's not new to me, but whether or not this is going to work as a stamp, that is new to me. The trick with, well, one trick with creating a tree from twine is to start in the middle. So I'll go ahead and get this done, and I'll come back and show you the result. Okay, so here is my basic tree shape done. There are lots of awesome techniques and things you can do with twine or string, and it's a cool idea to experiment with the thickness of twine that you're using, with the different types. You could use wool yarn as well, or all sorts of different fibers and textiles to do this sort of art. You can make really cool knot designs on it. I might see if I can find the other one I've done where I've put that, and I'll show you. Okay, so here is the one that I've done previously, and you can see you can make intricate kind of patterns on the trunk and things like that, and create something completely unique for you. You can do little knot shapes with the twine. Anyway, it's a really cool medium to work with. I really enjoy it. So let's see if this works out. I need to let this dry, obviously. In the meantime, I'm going to make a couple of other stamps. So I have some foam that came in packaging for some technology or something of my son's, and I'm just going to slice the end off that. Slice a couple of pieces, I think. Probably don't need that many. Okay, and then I'm going to cut these into a leaf shape, or, you know, something resembling a leaf shape anyway. This stuff is really good for creating dimension in pieces, so you could use it like you would use foam dots, or for raising something up off the page. I really hate throwing it out, but there are lots of uses you can find for it in crafting. Okay, now I'm going to grab some of that scrap cardboard. Found it. There we go. And I'm just going to glue those onto that card. You want to make sure that your foam pieces are the same height, otherwise your stamp is not going to come out very evenly. But having said that, I'm not too fussy. I don't want them to be too perfectly shaped, if that makes sense. I think that will do. Right, let those dry. Now I'm going to add, while this is still drying, I'm going to add some more cardboard to the back of this. This is just going to give me something to hold on to and press down onto when I am doing the stamping. So it doesn't have to be pretty, that's for sure. So you could be way more precise with that, and it will make life easier, but I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, we'll give that, I might go dry that off with the heat gun so we can carry on. Okay, that's dry enough for me. No one has time for dry time, especially me. I've just grabbed a paint palette, which has an ice cream container lid, and some cheap acrylic paints, and I'm going to use those for the stamping. These would work with ink pads as well, I'm pretty sure, but I don't have the colours I want, so I'm going with paint. And all I'm going to do, I have just, this one's called Burnt Sienna, it's 100 years old, I got it second hand, and I'm just going to paint that paint onto my tree. You could probably use a brayer if you have one, which would make this much faster. Right, so I have covered my twine in the acrylic paint, and I'm just going to take a tiny bit of a creamier coloured acrylic paint, also 100 years old and secondhand, and I'm just going to pop that in some places. On my tree. Like so. Okay, let's do it. I've no idea what this kit is going to turn out like. It might completely not be as expected, but make sure your page is on a good hard flat surface and give it a firm press all over. I'm going to flip it over and push down from this side as well. I don't know if this is a good idea. Might not be. Right, are we ready? Let's see. Let's see the mess I've made. Stuck. Ta-da! I am happy with that. Yeah, that came out good. So I feel like I could have pressed down harder in some places and it would have, it's a bit hard to see with the light in here. And that would have been helpful, you know, that would have given me a deeper impression, but I love that. I'm happy with it. It's better than I expected, so yay. So that works. So string for creating stamps works. Acrylic paint works. Now for my leaves, I don't have any green, but I do have blue. And I also have yellow. And that's all we need, right? Well, that's a very lovely dark blue green. Let's see what happens. I made a whole lot of paint for a tiny little project. This is generally what happens with me. Okay, stamping. And what you could do, if you have more patience than me, is let the layers dry between stamping, and you'd probably get a whole lot more depth of colour and that sort of thing in there. Okay, I need to stop, otherwise I'll just carry on, then it'll be destroyed. So this green paint is not going to go to waste, and these are not going to go to waste. I will either keep them to use for more stamping, or they will become part of a journal cover. In the meantime, they'll go in my stash and I'll come across them one day and I'll think, oh, I'm going to use those. Okay, so this green paint will get spread all over this baking paper and it will become collage fodder. So there we go. There is my tree. I'm really quite happy with that, actually. Sometimes I surprise myself. In a good way, not a bad way. I surprise myself all the time. In a bad way. Well, not a bad way, but you know. I surprise myself all the time with what I am incapable of. But I also surprise myself with what I am capable of. Okay, now where are my toucan? Oh, you know what I'm going to do? No, I'll come back to that. Okay. My toucans. So these gorgeous birdies, I'm thinking, well, I don't really want to cover up that tree, do I? Right, this is what I'm going to do. As crazy as it may seem. I'm going to turn this into a pocket and I am going to attach it here, but in a way that you can still see the tree. So to do that, I am going to fold over this edge first. I don't want to take off the beaks, so let me do it this way. So I'm just folding it over to give me a stronger opening edge. No other reason than that. I could, it's quite heavy paper, so I could just cut it off. Right, then I'm going to fold in the sides. Yes, yes, yes. And then I am going to take a piece of paper of some description. I'm just going to use some baking paper. Like so. And then I am going to glue down on each of these flappy things I created. And across the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to attach this like so. And that has now become a pocket that is going to go here. And my toucan will sit in there. My toucan illustration from Barbara and Louisa. Please check out their channels for all the details on dephemerember. I'm really bad at giving anyone details, but if you check out 49 Dragonflies and Louisa Heinzel Junk Journal Art, you will find all the details. And I don't think I'm not going to ink that or anything else either. I just love the page exactly as it is. It has some yellowing around the edges very slightly, and I'm really happy with that. So all I'm going to do now is, probably should wait for my paint to dry. but I'm going to attach that there with a strip of baking paper. Doesn't need to be straight or perfect. Okay. And I'm just going to, because I'm too impatient to wait for that to dry, I'm just going to pop that over there so I don't get paint on my envelope. Pop this here, make sure it is in the crease of the fold. Like that, yep. And then take the baking paper I just glued. Oh! And oh dear, and glue it on top. And then I'll have to go and clean up the mess I just made. It doesn't matter because I'm going to be decorating this anyway. So, you know, you can always cover up mess. We have a pocket. And I could stick another strip down there, but I'm not going to just at the moment. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to decorate this page a wee bit more. I love that. I mean, it's really basic and primitive and simple, but I just love it in my journal. And I could journal down here and down this side. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that as journaling space around the outside of the tree. And then there's journaling space here. And now for the tag, which was one of the main components, and I have done nothing but cut a tag shape. What should we do with the tag? Okay. Well, I have this dude on my wallpaper, but I'd really like him to be going the other way. Let's do some unfussy cutting. We need to break it up. There's too many toucans, so I need to break it up a wee bit with some other stuff. So I'm going to take this again, and I want something else behind him. Okay, I found this lovely bit. Yeah, I think I'd really like him on there. So I'm going to ink up the white edges of Mr. Toucan here. If you'd asked me if I had this many toucans, I would have said no. If you'd asked me if I had this many toucans, I would have said I don't think I've even got one. But it's amazing what you find when you go looking. I mean, it really helps that I am a complete and utter collector of everything I think might be useful for crafting. And I've never really thought about the toucan much. It's not really like one of my favourite birds or anything. I mean, they're pretty cool, but not one I've given much thought to, I have to say. So I now have a new appreciation for toucans. Yep, I'm going to glue him down there. I like that this parrot is looking at this toucan and like he's asking, what the heck are you doing? And then it's like a toucan army staring off into the distance at who knows what's behind this tree I've created. Okay, I like that. I'm gluing it down. Now, I'm just going to take those stamps, stamp one there, yep, stamp one up here. I haven't re-inked, I haven't put more paint on them. And I might put one up here, probably over his eye. No, I missed, yay. I'll take this little too far. Yeah, that'll be fine. This one obviously doesn't have as much ink on it. I think that's cool. I think that's enough. Okay. So that kind of ties in this painting with this tag. And I think I'll leave it there for now. So, I mean, this was really quick and simple and easy, right? Because I just basically used illustrations from a book. But it's a really nice, you know, I feel like it's good to know how to use these beautiful illustrations that we have without changing them too much. Because, you know, there's so many available to us in vintage books and things that it doesn't make sense not to use them, in my opinion, completely in my opinion. So there is definitely more that can be done here, as I say, with all of my pages. This one I'm not doing anything else to, I just love it so much. But there's more that could be done here, and I will revisit that in January when I come back to tidy up all the dephemerember pages and do all the backgrounds that I haven't done and stuff like that. In the meantime, I am going to mount this onto a piece of card, and I will slide this into the pocket, and I'll just do that off camera because that's pretty boring for you all, and you'll see the final result in this photo. Thank you so much again for joining me today, and I'll see you with the next one.